Hello and welcome to the MLB DFS slate breakdown for Friday, July 25th. I am your host, Tyler Wiemann. Come join us at LineStar. It's only $39.99 per month. Gets you access to all we do, the props, the DFS. You get it all one low price. Come join us. As always, on the show today, we will start off by the perfect lineups from yesterday, the winning lineups, then jump into some pitchers to consider for today and stacks. I'm sorry I don't have the camera on today if you miss my beautiful face, but I had a little incident yesterday and I chipped like half my tooth. So, because of that, kept the camera off today. Hopefully it's going to be fixed in about an hour or so. Let's dive in. The perfect lineups on DraftKings: Eric Lauer, Luis Severino. Lauer was somebody I was super high on yesterday. He absolutely came through. Sevy, I was not as high on, but there were multiple reasons to use him, and it worked out for those that did. We got a 3-man Cardinal stack, 2-man Blue Jays, and then some one-offs. 46,800 was the salary. 238.75 was the lineup score. And then the winning lineup went to Billy Bob, 58.31. Hopefully Billy Bob has all his teeth right now. I think it is pretty funny that the day that I lost, Billy Bob pops up as the winning lineup. But hey, congrats to them. It was a good one. 3-man St. Louis stack. Got one Angel. Got a 2-man Seattle stack. And then a few one-offs. My man Nick Kurtz went nuts. Manny Machado went nuts. And congrats to Billy Bob. Now, let's get over to the FanDuel lineup. And over here we have Sevy, 3-man Cardinals, 2-man Padres, 2-man Blue Jays. A lot of correlation. 33,800, 303.9 was the score. And the winning lineup goes to Broronosaurus Flex, 268.7. They had Sevy. They had a 4-man St. Louis stack, a 2-man Padres, one-off of Randy Arozarena and Zach Neto. Congrats to Broronosaurus. You got it done. Now let's jump into this beautiful 13-game slate on a Friday. It's a big one. A lot of different ways we can go. Do have a little bit of concern with weather in a few spots. And all of them are situations where we're really going to have to just check the radar as we get a little closer to lock. But watch Baltimore, watch Yankees and KC. Those are the ones popping up now. There always could be others. I know there are some storms in the Cincinnati area, but those do look like it'll be okay and we'll be able to play some ball. Now, highest owned pitchers for the day on DraftKings. We got Logan Webb, 20% owned, 9,300. Solid projection, solid consensus projection, 3-star alert score, 7.5 game total, and Giants are big-time favorites. Logan Webb has been spectacular this season. 2.68 FIP over his last 20 starts, 3.83 over his last 5. He's been a little bit worse over his last 5. Now he did face Miami, Arizona, the A's, Dodgers, and Toronto. So it's been a little bit of a tough string of games here. All in all, Logan Webb is one of the elite pitchers in this game. I'm not really worried about a 5-game stretch that was a little less than desirable. StatCast data still good. A little too many barrel balls, but it's fine. It's a lot of soft contact that he gives up. Now, as far as the opponent splits, the Mets haven't been hitting lately. Over the last 20, 238 average, 160 ISO, 309 WOBA versus righties. And then the BVP data, Logan Webb has been spectacular versus the Mets. 102 plate attempts, 152 average, 120 ISO, 210 WOBA. Combined K rate, 21% today. The BVP K rate, 24.5. He's been just great against the Mets. Last 3 outings over the last 2 years, it's been 26 plus points. I don't mind getting some web. Next, we got Brian Wu, 10.5K, 18% owned. Look, all this guy does is just put up quality starts after quality starts, and he's in a good spot. He's much better at home. His K rate has been solid, almost 30% over the last 5 starts with a 3.67 FIP. Don't mind going here. Now, the Angels aren't a cake matchup. They hit the ball hard. They have a 271 average versus righties over the last 20 games, but they strike out a lot. There is upside in this matchup. I very much like Wu. He's one of the safer options on the slate, as he just continually gets it done, start after start. Kyle Freeland, 5,500. Now, Orioles don't hit lefties well. He's also 49% more fantasy points per start when he's away. So I think there is some interest here, even though it's Kyle Freebomb, as we like to call him. But look, he has a FIP of 4.5 over the last 20. Not totally, not horrible, around average, maybe slightly below average for MLB starters. But when he's been away, he has been able to show some ceiling. 26 in Tampa Bay. 23 in Miami. 15 versus Boston. 17 versus Minnesota. At 5,500, you would take a high teens or a 20 outing. And he does give you that. I do think he's going a little higher owned than he should be, but there's reasons to play him. Next, Nick Pivetta, 22-point projection, 10.2K, 17% owned versus the Cardinals. Look, the ball was traveling pretty well in St. Louis yesterday. The weather is still warm. The winds aren't blowing out like they were yesterday, but it is still good hitting conditions. However, Pivetta has been elite this season. 3.26 FIP over his last 20, 2.28 over the last 5. He has big-time K stuff. It's a decent matchup. I don't mind getting to some Pivetta. I do have to warn you, though, 38.6% less fantasy points away. He definitely isn't as good away. Petco limits home runs. The ball does not travel as well at Petco. The issue with Pivetta is he gives up hard contact, and when he does, the ball tends to go out of the stadium. So in this hitting conditions, I would expect a ball or two to go out of the park. It's just, are people on base or not? And that is kind of going to be the make it or break it for Pivetta. I do like him today. I think he's probably going reasonably owned around where he should be. Next, Shota, 9.9K, 16% owned versus the White Sox. White Sox have been hitting lately. No doubt about that. But Shota has been great. His last 2 times out, he has gone 14 innings, allowed 1 earned run, and has 11 Ks. I do think he has a little bit better K stuff than that, so there is some upside on that. And over the long range, the White Sox have been a great matchup. Over the short range, they've been a little bit tough versus lefties. All in all, I think Shota is too good not to consider him when other people aren't really wanting to go there. Dean Kremer is popping up. He's only 8K on DraftKings. At that, I absolutely have some interest. It's a great matchup versus Colorado. He's 56% more fantasy points when home. He's been very good lately, 2.83 FIP over his last 5 starts with a 24% K rate. Now, over the last 20, he only has like a 19.6% K rate, so much worse. We do have nice hitting weather in Baltimore, and he's 45% fly balls. So there are absolutely reasons that ball could make it out of the stadium with Kremer pitching. But all in all, I like it, and there's big-time upside with a 26.7% K rate for the Colorado Rockies over the last 20. We have a 25.6% K rate. I'm interested in some Kremer. Next, we got Nathan Eovaldi, 9.6K, 15% owned. Love the spot. Eovaldi's just been absolutely amazing this season. He also went 7.2 and 102 pitches last time out, so we're not concerned about that pitch count anymore. The Braves have struggled a little bit on offense. Ozuna hasn't been in the lineup lately. They're also looking at trading some guys. I think Eovaldi's in a very interesting spot at home. I don't mind going with him. Next, we got Mackenzie Gore. Gore has been very good for the season. He has struggled lately, though. 4.8 FIP over his last 5. Going with Gore today is expecting a bounce back. Now, Minnesota has been good versus lefties, so it's not a cake matchup. Over the last 20 games, 317 ISO, 400 WOBA, 277 average. Not numbers you want to go against. I do think there's upside. Gore was an elite pitcher for most of this season. It's just the last month or so that he's fallen off. If he can bounce back, he's underpriced and has huge upside while going low owned. I'm interested in a little bit. Only other pivot I want to talk about, Michael Wacha, 7,700, 54% more fantasy points win home. His FIP, 3.94 over the last 20, 4.03 over the last 5. Not huge K upside with him, but he's only 7,700. If he can get you, 24, 25, that's paying it off, and he's done that several times this season. The Royals are favored, minus 115, only a game total of 8. Very much interested in some Wacha today. Now, let's get over to FanDuel, see what we got here pitching-wise. Our high-owned, we got Woo. He should probably be the highest owned, Pivetta and Webb. All 3 of those should be high owned. All are in great spots. I do think Kremer's a little too pricey over here on FanDuel. And he just doesn't have near the upside as Woo, Pivetta, Webb, Eovaldi. So with that, I'm probably not going to get to Pivetta. But going low owned, he is an option you could go if you want to save some money. I do prefer Eovaldi, Amanga, Shata, or even Barrios at 8,400. The only reason I want to talk about Barrios here is that Tigers have been struggling at the plate lately, and we know Barrios has some big time upside when he gets it going, and he's only at 8,400. He can get you 50s in those solid starts, and 2K savings to get you 50 is compelling. Now, let's get into the stack attacks. Our highest owned, we got Baltimore versus Freebomb. I doubt Baltimore ends up being the highest owned stack and one of the highest owned pitchers on DraftKings. And if he is, this is a spot that I absolutely don't play. I don't mind playing both sides. We have great hitting weather in Boston at a stadium that's been playing up hitting with the changes they made in the stadium. They're 9.5. It's a 9.5 game total, and Baltimore's minus 200 favorites. Implied total is high at 5.4. Absolutely fine with some Baltimore. Yankees versus Walker. I think it's an absolutely great spot, and I'm all in on the Yankees versus Walker. Walker has fallen off. Huge game total of 10. You don't see double-digit game totals outside of Colorado very often, or, the occasional Fenway or Wrigley. We got one here, and they're good spot. Don't mind going there. Boston versus Will Warren, Emmett Shaheen, absolutely fine going there as well. And highest projected. All right, we have Cubs versus Adrian Hauser. Look, Adrian Hauser has been very good with the White Sox. Don't love trying to pick on them. And the Cubs really haven't been all that great with the bat lately. 4 runs, 6, 4, 1, 6, 4, 4, 5. Not bad. Still a better offense, but those explosions haven't been happening recently. That's really what we're looking for, the DFS. I don't mind a little Cubs, but I'm not going to go overboard on them. Yankees versus Walker. Absolutely love the spot. We have a game total of 10. Rarely happens outside of, extreme weather spots or Colorado. They're in a good spot versus Walker, who really hasn't been very good this season. Highest value, we got Houston versus Jeff Springs. Houston's been hitting. Springs hasn't been pitching very well. Makes a ton of sense. And there's a ton of Houston bats that are cheap, so you got to love that. Our highest ceiling plays, we got Yankees and Cubs. And our highest leverage plays, we got Mets versus Logan Webb. I, for one, do not like the Mets and will be playing very little of them. There is reason to want to play them for game theory, for leverage, though. They're going unowned. I just think Logan Webb is a pitcher that rarely, if ever, gets blown up. He may give up, 2-3 earned runs, but he generally doesn't do more than that, and the bullpen behind him is decent. Angels versus Brian Wu. Wu at home has been dominant for the last couple years, and he just keeps doing it. I don't mind a little bit because the Angels can hit a couple home runs. I'm just probably not going to do a ton of 5-man stacks with them. Detroit popping up versus Berrios. They could get right. It is a spot where Berrios could get lit up a little bit, but I do like playing both sides of that one. Now we're clicking on our teams tab. 5.4 is the highest implied run total. Baltimore and New York both have that. I think both are in great spots, and I want both teams. Cincinnati at 4.8. Absolutely love it versus Zach Lytle. Dodgers at 4.8 versus Brayan Bello. Bello has some games where he really brings it, and the Dodgers aren't hitting that well. So I don't totally love the Dodgers here, but I'm fine getting some just because that offense can wake up at absolutely any moment. And Shohei is absolutely hitting very, very well. It's the rest of the team that's been struggling a little. Boston, 4.7 versus Emmett Shaheen. I think it's a very interesting spot with good hitting weather. Tampa Bay, Nick Martinez at 4.7. We're on Great American Small Park, and Tampa Bay has some power. They can steal some bases. I think there's a lot of ways they can generate offense, so I'm definitely interested in. Philadelphia at 4.6. Love that spot. Cubs are way down at 4.5, and getting some ownership doesn't totally make sense for me. Padres at 4.4 versus Mikolas is interesting. The ball was traveling well yesterday. They hit well. Mikolas can get lit up, but he can also be just one of those annoying pitchers that goes, 6 innings, gives up 3 runs, doesn't do enough. The bullpen behind Mikolas is decent. Toronto, don't mind getting some versus Montero. I love Texas today. The thing with the Braves is, their pitching staff is beat up, and this Texas lineup has started hitting pretty well, so definitely have some interest in going there. And then I also don't mind getting to some athletics. Bullpen's good. Gusto is kind of meh. They've given up some hard average exit velocity. I think it's an interesting spot. I'm not going to, have a ton of them, but as a low-owned one, it's definitely an interesting play. And then the Royals versus Gavin Williams. Gavin Williams has been much better at home than away. Because of that, I have some interest in Royals. And that's going to do it for us today, guys. I hope you guys have a good one. We'll be back more next week. Hope you have a great weekend. And see you then. Peace.